Christopher's question, he says, I ride bikes a lot with my mates in uni, and I got into cycling after that, doing the occasional group ride or sportif, but I was never competitive and mostly did it just to pass a good time with my friends. For 6 years now, I've taken an even more casual approach to racing that mostly sees me showing up when I lose a bet with my mates. So he says, however, that's all changing now. I signed up for TrainerRoad in 2020 during lockdown and look forward to Australia's crit season. So here's my issue. I've gotten a lot faster since using TrainerRoad, and it has found me at the front of groups from which I used to be dropped. Initially, I couldn't believe I was at the front, and I was overcome with excitement. I go to the front with a vulgar display of power, but I quickly realized I didn't know what I was doing through turns and descents, as made evident by the yelling from the other riders in the group. I've realized I didn't know how to pick a good line, manage braking and pedaling, and carrying momentum through turns unless I'm following somebody. In short, I can corner fine if I have somebody to follow, but not on my own. Is this a common problem, and how can I fix it? Signed, a racer who wants to not bodge every turn. So this is actually pretty common, I think, right, Erica? Where like athletes, following the wheels and being in the wheels, that's one thing, but then going solo is different. What tips would you have in this case?
Great question. And I just want to touch on, for people who do listen to this podcast, he said that he was going to uni, and I think the collegiate bike racing scene is a great way to develop your bike racing skills because it allows these young people to really focus on bike racing and it's like way casual, less stressful. So that's awesome. And in terms of getting better in the corners or not bodging, that was his word? Bodging?
Yeah. Bodging every corner. Yeah.
I think, and this is sort of funny, the ancient Chinese secret that Jame always gave us about cornering is that when you hit your brakes in a corner, you're making a choice. You're choosing to slow down. And it sounds kind of harsh, but when you think about it and you're following that person in front of you going X miles per hour and you're not falling down when you're going through that corner, you have to say to yourself, well, I can go this fast and not fall down. So there's no reason why, if you can do it behind that person, that you can't do it on your own. You're choosing to hit your brakes and go through it slower under this idea that you're going to like fall down or do something not fun, when in reality, you've already experienced those corners at a speed greater than what you're already going through it yourself. So I think just realizing like, letting go. You see people race with their hands on their brakes like all the time, like they're ready to brake like constantly. Just kind of taking your fingers off the brakes and understanding that if you can go through the corner at 25 miles an hour with the person in front of you, you can do that by yourself. Like it's not going to magically make you fall if you don't have a wheel in front of you and you go through the corner in the same speed. And the other thing is just practice. I have seen, really talented bike riders who can't descend or corner, not, train your weakness, Like, I don't care if you can go up this mountain really fast and you do it all the time because you're really good at it. If you can't descend or you can't corner, that's a problem. So you have to train and work on the things that you're not good at. So if that means jumping into more crits and, afterwards, if you bodge it up and you talk to the people, be like, well, what can I do? Ask them, be like, what can I do better? What did I do? Like, try to learn and hear from them, because they're in the race with you. But, I think the mental side of it is just choosing not to brake in the corners. And then I guess just being a sponge, like taking a good line in the corners and stuff like that. That's all stuff you have to like consciously say, okay, in this race, in this corner, this is how we took that line. And it was really smooth. And then behind this person, I took it on the inside and it was really awful. So a lot of trial and error and just really being a conscious bike rider. And going back to the car and saying, okay, what did I learn from that? I think it's really easy to finish a bike race and just be like, oh, that was it. Okay, on to the next, without actually like breaking it down and trying to figure out what went well and what didn't go well.
Yeah, this makes sense looking at your career, how you were able to achieve that championship, chipping away and giving yourself all the opportunities to practice all this, right? Which super important. Cool. I just have a handful of questions that I generated. Nobody else submitted these. These ones I submitted. But I want to ask a few of these. So kind of like not necessarily rapid fire, but first, and this one actually dovetails into what we talked about just before this, but when you talk about practicing those skills, a lot of the time I ask pro athletes, like, how do you train when you're in the midst of the race season? And usually they're like, well, the racing is the intensity, so then I just do easy rides outside of it. But how did you train the tactical and technical aspects of racing? Because that was so crucial to your success as a crit racer. Did you actually do drills throughout the season as a professional rider as well? Or how did you touch up those skill sets?
So a lot of the stuff that I practiced that I attributed to the main season would be things in the off season. So we did a lot of mountain biking. We would do, like I said, the fixed gear riding, just doing things during the off season that you practice there, so that when you get to the main season, you're not thinking about practicing and improving your cornering skills. And I highly recommend that bike riders get on the mountain bike or get on the cross bike. You know, we did a lot of gravel stuff, a lot of cyclocross stuff, and all of those things cross over into each discipline. But you don't want to go into a racing season when you're trying to achieve your goals. You don't want to be like, okay, well, I'm going to try to win this race, but in that process of that race, I'm also going to really improve my cornering skills and my pack skills and all of these things. So work on what you can in the off season when the pressure's off, so that you can just go into the main season and really focus on those things. So yeah, I think there's a time and a place to do it. And of course, in a pack, you know, if you're working on your pack skills and having good positioning, you can only really do that when you're in a pack. But there are other things you can do in the off season that will help make the main season a little bit easier.
If you like this video, make sure you give us a thumbs up.
If you didn't like this video, you can give it a thumbs down, but let us know what you would have done differently in the comments below.
If you want to see more of these videos, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you want to become a faster cyclist, check out TrainerRoad.com.
Do it.